I noticed a text on her phone. He's at his mom's funeral. The house is ours. I responded, be right back. Then I went home, changed the security codes, and put up a no trespassing sign on the lawn. Her scream when the new alarm system activated was piercing. I'm 36 and just buried my mother today. The last 6 months have been long and brutal. Cancer, you know how it goes. My fiancée, Naomi, 32, has been my support. Or so I kept convincing myself. She's lived with me for 2 years, ever since her freelance marketing work slowed down. The house is mine. I purchased it 5 years ago, and my mother, the woman I just laid to rest, gave me the down payment. It's my home. Every inch of it is tied to her. At the funeral, I was just a shell in a suit, shaking hands and accepting hugs from people I barely recognized. I was numb. In the funeral home, I sat in the front row, staring at the casket, while Naomi sat beside me, her hand on my back, playing the role of the grieving partner perfectly. She thought I was too lost in my thoughts to notice what she was doing, but I was aware. I saw her phone light up in her lap, tucked under her black dress. She glanced down and quickly began typing a response. She thought she was being discreet, but she wasn't. From my angle, I could see the message she was replying to, a text from Righ, a guy from her meditation retreat last month. Righ, he bought the family emergency story. I watched her thumbs move, watching her type the words that would be burned into my memory forever. Naomi, he's at his mother's funeral. The house is ours. In that moment, I felt nothing. The deep grief for my mom was suddenly replaced by something cold and sharp. It felt like a switch flipped. I watched her send the text, lock her phone, then dab a fake tear from her eye before placing her hand back on my knee. I sat there for another 10 minutes, just breathing. Then I leaned in close to her. I forgot something at the house, I whispered, my voice steady. I'll be right back. She looked at me, eyes wide with a feigned concern she was good at. Oh, honey, of course. Do you want me to come with you? No, I need a moment alone. Okay, take your time, baby. We'll be here when you return for the procession. I stood up and walked out of the funeral home, passing my aunt and my mom's friends, and got into my car. Instead of driving home, I headed to the hardware store. I'm pretty good with technology. It's part of my job. I spent an hour in that store, purchasing a high-end smart lock with a keypad and camera, a new hub for the garage door that would invalidate all old remotes, an all-in-one security system with a base station, for door/window sensors, 3 motion detectors, 2 loud external sirens, and 3 large no trespassing signs. Then I drove home. The house was empty and quiet. My mom's unfinished painting was still on the easel in the living room, just as she left it. I gently covered it with a sheet and got to work. I'm methodical when I'm angry. It took me 2 hours to remove the old deadbolt and handle and install the new smart lock. I set a new 10-digit master code and connected the new garage door opener hub. Her car remote was now useless. I placed sensors on the front door, back door, garage door, and the guest window. I set motion sensors in the foyer, living room, and upstairs landing. I plugged in the base station, hid 1 siren in the HVAC vent in the living room and the other under the stairs. I zip-tied the no trespassing signs to the front gate, porch railing, and side fence facing the neighbor's driveway. I logged into the new security app on my phone and armed the system. Then I drove back to the funeral home. The service was over. People were milling around, preparing to head to the cemetery. Naomi rushed over, grabbing my arm. Leo, you were gone forever. I was so worried. Are you okay? Yeah, I replied, my voice flat. Just a lot to process. Okay, baby, let's go. We can ride together in my car. We drove to the cemetery. I stood there, watching them lower my mother into the ground. Naomi held my hand, and I felt her rings, the ones I had bought her. Afterward, we drove back to my house. She saw the signs first and gasped. Leo, what is that? Who put those up? Did someone threaten you? Just being careful, I said. New security system. Oh, okay. Weird. She walked up the front steps, keys in hand. When she reached the door, she stopped. Leo, what did you do to the lock? New system, I said, coming up behind her. Well, what's the code? Same as the old one, I lied. She entered the old code. Beep boop beep. Access denied. It's not working, she said, irritation creeping into her voice. You're so out of it, you probably entered it wrong. Use your key. No keyhole, I pointed out. Her head snapped back to the lock. What? Why would you get a lock with no key? What if the power goes out? It has a battery, I replied. Well, call the company. It's cold. She was getting bossy. The fake grief was gone, replaced by entitlement. Try the back door, I suggested. Maybe that sensor is faulty. She huffed and marched around the side of the house to the back patio. She grabbed the sliding glass door handle and yanked it open. The second the door moved, the system activated. Beep beep. The 30-second entry delay began. Naomi froze. What is that beeping? Leo, what's happening? I stood on the lawn about 15 feet away. That's the new alarm. You have 30 seconds to enter the code. I don't know the code. You should know it, though. After all, the house is ours. Her face was etched with confusion, dawning horror and panic. Leo, what? What did you say? 10 seconds. Leo, turn it off. This isn't funny. The 30 seconds ended. The sirens blared. It was deafening, a piercing, shrieking assault on the senses. Naomi didn't just cover her ears. She recoiled, stumbled back, and let out a raw scream that was completely drowned out by the alarm. My phone instantly buzzed with notifications from the security company. I answered, holding it to my ear over the sirens. This is the security company. We've detected an alarm at your residence. Yes, I see it. An unauthorized person is on my back patio. Her name is Naomi. She's attempting to break in. Please dispatch police. Naomi, hearing me, was now screaming. Leo, Leo, you bastard. Stop. Tell them. I hit disarm on my phone app. The silence that followed was sudden and jarring, leaving our ears ringing. Naomi was shaking, her face blotchy red, tears of rage in her eyes. Leo, what are you doing? She sobbed. Get off my property, I said, my voice calm. The police are on their way to arrest you for trespassing. You can explain to them how the house is ours. I got in my car and parked it down the street before we got home, leaving her standing on my back patio next to a no trespassing sign, waiting for the cops. Update 1. It's been 4 days. The funeral was a blur. This is sharp. The cops came, as expected. Naomi put on the performance of a lifetime. 2 officers showed up. A younger guy, Officer K, and an older woman, Officer Breyer. Sir, what's going on here? Officer Breyer asked. We got a call about a break-in, but this woman says she lives here. He locked me out. I'm his fiancé. His mother just died. He's having a breakdown. Officer, this is my house. I am the sole owner. I am grieving. Yes, but I'm not having a breakdown. I came home and installed a new security system. She tried to enter without my permission, and it triggered the alarm. Ma'am, do you have identification with this address? Yes. My driver's license and my subscription boxes. I've lived here for 2 years. This was the part one knew was coming. Officer Breyer gave me that weary look. Sir, I understand you're the owner, but she has established tenancy. Her ID is here, and she gets mail here. You can't just lock her out. Even if whatever's going on, it's a civil matter. You have to go through the courts. You have to formally evict her. The illegal eviction, the trump card of every squatter. Naomi's expression shifted. The tears stopped, replaced by a smug, tear-stained smile. She knew this was probably her plan all along. Officer, I understand completely. I'm not trying to perform an illegal eviction. I was installing a new security system because I have proof that she was planning to let an unauthorized person, her affair partner, move into my home while I was at my mother's funeral. The alarm was an unfortunate part of that installation. I showed Officer Breyer the text on my phone. He's at his mother's funeral. The house is ours. Breyer's face hardened as she looked at Naomi. Ma'am, is this true? Naomi responded. He's twisting my words. That was a joke. Righ is just a friend. Leo is paranoid. Look, this is a mess. Sir, you still have to let her in. We can't put her on the street. But ma'am, I suggest you just get your things and go. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. I helped decorate. I'm not comfortable being here with her, I interjected. And I am not giving her the new security code. She can come in and pack a bag, and you can supervise, but then she has to leave. I will have my lawyer file the formal eviction papers first thing in the morning. The cops agreed. It was a compromise. They stood in the foyer while Naomi stormed upstairs, grabbing clothes, her laptop, makeup, throwing things into a suitcase. Naomi screamed from upstairs, You won't get away with this, Leo. I helped pay for the groceries. That matters. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. She stormed out, dragging her suitcase. This isn't over, she spat. The cops gave me a card. Get that eviction filed and maybe a restraining order. The next day, the real entitlement began. I was at my house trying to sort through my mom's condolence cards when my phone rang. An unknown number. Is this Leo? Who is this? This is righ. Listen, man. You need to stop this. My blood ran cold. You have my number. Naomi's a mess. You're being a real monster, man. Kicking her out after your mom just died? That's low, even for you. Look, she needs her stuff. All of it. And her car. You changed the garage code. She can't get her car. Her car, right? The silver coupe? Yeah. You need to give her the code and let her back in. She lives there. She put 2 years of emotional labor into that house. That peacock blue accent wall in the den? That was her idea. You owe her for that emotional labor. Yeah, and we'll be by tomorrow at 10 a.m. to get the rest of our things with a police escort. You better be there and let us in, or we'll have you arrested for illegal eviction and theft. Theft? Okay. 10 a.m., you said? See you then. I hung up and got to work. I called my new lawyer, Frank, explained the situation, the text, the police report, the residency, and Riss's threats. Frank, they're blowing smoke about arresting you for theft, but the residency thing is a pain. We'll file the eviction, but we can be creative. The car, did you say it's in her name? No, it's in my name. I bought it for her. She was supposed to make the payments, but she hasn't. I've been covering them for 6 months. Leo, you're a good man and a bit of a fool, but this is good. Call the bank now. I called the finance company. Hi, my name is Leo. I'm the sole owner of a coupe model. Yes, I need to report it stolen. Stolen by who? By the person I allowed to drive it, Naomi. She has refused to return it. She's no longer authorized to drive my vehicle. Please retrieve your asset. They were very helpful. A repossession order was filed immediately. I called a 24/7 moving and storage company. Hi, I need an emergency pack out tonight. Yes, the whole guest portion of the house. Price is not an object. The movers arrived at my house by midnight. They were fantastic, a team of 4. They packed everything that belonged to her. Every piece of clothing, every bottle of shampoo, every live laugh love sign, even the ugly lamp she adored, and the half-empty cans of peacock blue paint from the garage. By 4 a.m., her entire life was in a 10 by 20 climate-controlled storage unit. I paid for 1 month. At 4:30 a.m., I sat on my porch when a tow truck quietly rolled down my street. I hit the new garage door opener. The door opened, and they hooked up my silver coupe. 5 minutes later, it was gone. I reset the alarm, locked my new lock, and went to bed. At 10:15 a.m., my phone exploded. I was at a coffee shop, enjoying the first decent thing I'd tasted in a week. A dozen missed calls. A voicemail from Naomi. A shriek I could hear even with the volume low. Leo, you son of a, where's my car? My car is gone. The repo company called me. You did this. I'm at the house, and the garage is empty. Where is my stuff? Leo, I am calling the police. You are going to jail for grand theft. Then a text from righ. You are a dead man. You stole her car and her property. The cops are on their way back. You are so screwed. Then the call from Officer Breyer. She sounded exhausted. Mr. Leo, I'm back at your house. Miss Naomi is here. She's very upset. She's claiming you've stolen her vehicle and all of her personal property. Good afternoon, officer. No theft. The vehicle is owned by me. I was no longer comfortable with her driving it and reported it to the lien holder, who retrieved their asset. As for her personal property, I was concerned for its safety. I had it all professionally packed and moved to a secure climate-controlled storage unit. I'm happy to provide you with the address, the unit number, and the access code. Long-term storage unit? Yes, ma'am. I wanted to protect her belongings while we handle the formal legal eviction you advised me to file. This seemed like the cleanest way to separate our property, given the circumstances. Ma'am, he didn't steal it. It's in storage, and the car was repossessed by the bank. I could hear her scream through the phone. It was glorious. Repossessed on my credit. He's ruining my life. Officer, I'm currently with my attorney. If you have any more questions, you can direct them to him. His name is Frank, and I can provide his last name. I hung up and finished my coffee. The legal battle had officially begun. Final update. It's been 8 weeks. The eviction process was slow, and the lawsuit was worse. Oh yes, they sued me. As soon as Naomi got access to her storage unit and the bill for the next month's rent, she and righ hired a lawyer and filed a civil suit for illegal eviction, which was tossed out. Frank showed the judge my texts, the police report, and the filed eviction papers. The judge ruled that I had taken reasonable steps to secure my property after a threat. The claim of conversion was dismissed, as I had the storage unit receipts and the repo confirmation. Naomi's lawyer focused on the intentional infliction of emotional distress. This was the claim they relied on. They argued that I had promised her a life, that the house was ours, and that she had contributed significant non-financial value to the home. The peacock wall was mentioned. I'm not joking. They sought $50,000 and for me to pay the deficiency on the repossessed car, which had ruined her credit. This was when things got dirty. First, Naomi's mom called my aunt, crying, claiming I was destroying my mother's things in a grief-stricken rage. She said I had thrown out her unfinished painting. My aunt, also grieving, went into a panic. I had to FaceTime her, walk her through my house, and show her the painting, still covered and safe, just to calm her down. Using my mom's memory was vile. Second, they called in a wellness check on me at 11 p.m., claiming I was suicidally depressed, unstable, and a danger to myself. 2 officers had to come into my home, look around, and ask if I was okay. It was humiliating and a clear attempt to paint me as unstable for the civil case. My lawyer, Frank, was furious. This is harassment, plain and simple. They're trying to leverage your grief. We're not playing defense anymore. This was when Frank did something brilliant. He filed a motion, arguing that Naomi's claim of destitution, that I'd left her homeless and penniless, was fraudulent. Why? Because she had a new partner, Righ, who was clearly supporting her, as evidenced by the text about moving in together. Frank subpoenaed righ, not for testimony, but for his financials. We argued that if righ and Naomi were a committed couple and he was funding her lawsuit, his assets were relevant to her claim of being destitute. The explosion was immediate. Righ's lawyer called Frank, screaming, demanding the subpoena be quashed. Frank refused. 2 days later, we got a call. They wanted to settle. Immediately, we all met in a conference room. Me, Frank, Naomi, her lawyer, and righ. Righ looked like he might be sick, pale and sweating. Naomi just looked angry. My client is prepared to settle this. She will drop the suit in exchange for $25,000 and you assuming the car loan. Frank leaned back in his chair. No, here's our offer. You drop the suit with prejudice, sign a non-disparagement agreement, and we won't send a copy of this subpoena and our other findings to Righ's wife's name. Naomi's head whipped around to Righ. Who? Who is that? Righ went from pale to green. His lawyer put his head in his hands. Righ? Who is that? You can't. I can. She's not a party to this suit, but she is a party to your marriage. Since your joint assets are being used to fund this, I'd say she has a right to know where the money is going and who it's going to. Righ was married for 10 years and was cheating on his wife with Naomi, just as Naomi was cheating on me with him. The "house is ours" text wasn't just about them moving in. It was about Righ leaving his wife and moving his new life into my house. You're married. Drop the suit. Drop all of it. What? No, Righ. He's ruining my life. My credit is shot. I'm living on your couch. He stood up and slammed his hands on the table. I said drop it. The suit was dropped with prejudice. They both signed the NDA. I heard from a mutual friend what happened next. In a fit of rage, Naomi blew up Righ's life. She called his wife and emailed her everything. Righ is now facing a divorce that will be 100 times worse than my little legal battle. His wife is apparently a shark. Naomi is in trouble. She has no house, her credit is ruined from the repossession, and she has no Righ and no $50,000. Apparently, she's back in her hometown living with her parents. It cost me about $20,000 in legal fees and movers. It cost me the woman I thought I was going to marry. It cast a shadow over the worst day of my life. I'm not happy. I don't feel like I won. I'm just here in my house. It's quiet. I sold the peacock blue paint on a local classifieds page for $20. Yesterday, I finally took the sheet off my mom's painting. I sat in front of it for a long time. It's unfinished, and it always will be, but it's safe.